now let's look at the data industry in Nigeria. Decision making connected to data. Businesses, survey, all about data. Well, to discuss this, we have Sooter Saalu, is a data professional, joins us right here in the studio. Sooter, welcome to the program. Good to have you here.
They are happy to be here.
Great. So when we talk about the data industry, how developed is it? So we just talked about NIMSI, and they were telling us the number of Nigerians are now registered and all of that. Sometimes when you talk about loans and all, they say Nigeria doesn't have a rich data bank. I wonder if that's changing since you are in that industry.
There are improvements all around. Since maybe 2020, there has been a lot of improvements in terms of learning, in terms of applying data to everyday businesses, making data-backed decisions.
So, but how do you get the data? I think that's where you come in. Yeah?
So, yeah, you have to, at this point, create for yourself. There's not enough access to governmental surveys or those kind of things. So as a business or as a the data industry in general, they create by themselves. They get people to do that field work for them. They share these surveys or online or social media or whatever to just basically generate those data that they can then analyze and get those data-backed decisions.
What about journalists? Because we are supposed to have conversation with experts. We're supposed to put up reports, and all of this has to do with information and data. Doesn't mean we have to create an arm. For instance, maybe Channel Television will have an arm to gather data, because as you said, we speak to a whole lot of people here whose major responsibility in their company is to gather data and give projections on the economy, on sectors and all.
So maybe a research arm, but then how you can get in front of that is maybe seeking out those experts that are in the field and they are conversant with the data that they need to be. Say in agriculture, you speak to an expert in that area and they have an understanding of the key data points that they use in their day-to-day, the key metrics that they look at as guidelines for their business as well. So data, apart from getting the research, you can also engage experts and they will have the data for you.
So that's another job. What about individuals? Looking at households and away from the office and business?
So for individuals, I guess Google is your friend. So you can find a lot of information on there. You can find the governmental surveys, the little that we have on there, as well as other individuals, what they have published. I'm sure a lot of academic institutions publish online, publish their research works, publish even businesses Steers, they publish online. So you can get those information online as well as an individual.
So when you talk about documentation of this data, that's a profession.
Yes, in general, data documentation, technical writer, basically.
So what does that involve and who needs a data?
So I'll say everybody, whether individuals or businesses, documentation is like a driver for sustainable growth. So the only people that would not need documentation are those who are not growing. If your organization has all the needed information, all the needed expertise, and everybody knows what they need to know, then sure, you don't have documentation. But for everybody else, you need documentation to bring in new people so that they can get up to par with your understanding. You need documentation to, debug or fix things. As an individual, I inherited a lot of old appliances from my family, and then if 5 years later I'm looking at the blender and I don't know how to clean or how to basically fix it, I'm Googling, I'm going to see, is there an online manual for this? Is there documentation on this particular blender? And then from that I know that, you can turn this and turn that, and then it comes apart and you can put it back together. So that is what documentation basically is.
So this has to be somebody's job I'm sure there are certificate courses, or do people have to go to?
So it depends on how they are applying how they are applying it. So it depends on how they are applying it. Basically, the certifications might be that, okay, as a data professional, I have a data engineering certification. I have a data analytics certification. And then for writing, I have a writing certification. So it's not really a documentation certification. It is that, okay, you are bringing all this knowledge, and then you have that expertise, and then you want to like teach other people. That's basically it. You want to show people how to do what you are already doing, what you already have in your head. So that is how you can now put it together, and that is the documentation for products, for businesses.
Well, how appreciated is this line of work, for instance, because it seems like it's just it's on a building phase in a country like Nigeria?
Well, I say that there have been a lot of people that have been in charge of documentation across board, but appreciation not as much as maybe a developer or so, but it is as important, because even sometimes developers carry on that responsibility to generate their documentation, or even if it's not a separate role, as a team, you have the responsibility to all chip in to create your documentation within your business.
Well, over time, I guess everybody is becoming more conscious of the need for data documentation. What trend do you see? How soon do you see?
With AI and with all this other technology, where you can automate, where you can bring documentation nearer to where you are carrying out the operations, you see that you can easily generate, like with ChatGPT now, you can basically write a sentence and it generates a page for you. Then it's now up to you to edit those out into what you can send out, or what you can set as your standard documentation. So technology has made that process easier, has made that whole process of creating documentation easier. But then you also need that human insight, that just somebody that understands the business, understands who you are speaking to, the audiences, and basically say that, okay, this does not flow well, this is too complex, this is like technical jargon, we don't need it for our audience, that kind of thing.
Because I wanted to say, wouldn't that make people like you irrelevant if we have AI to depend on?
No, I do not think AI is going to take anybody's job. If you feel that AI is going to take your job, learn how to use AI to do your job, and then you'll be the one using the AI instead of them using AI for your job.
All right, Sooter Saalu, data professional, thank you so much for the insight.
Happy to be here. Thank you.